Now this is one that I've already finished. For making the fancier slip leash, you're still going to need some rope to start with. We're still going to use some nice sturdy thread, like this thinner crochet thread. But for the actual crochet, but we use this, even though it's crochet thread, we're going to be sewing with this. And we're going to be crocheting with this. And you can choose any color you like. We're still going to be sewing with our needle here. But we're also going to be using crochet needles. And you're going to have to just play around with it and see which size crochet needle works best for you. I like to use the thinnest needle possible to go with the thread that I'm going to be using. Once again, you can get this at the craft section at Walmart. You probably don't want to go to a craft store. It's going to cost more. But you can get it. Let's get started crocheting. I'm using some white thread here. I'm left-handed like I said. I'm going to hold it with my thumb and forefinger here and my thumb and forefinger here. I'm going to bring it around, make it a little longer. Bring it around to a circle with a little bit hanging off the edge. I'm continuing to wrap my crochet around. That's number 14. That's like the 14th loop here. Gonna do one more. So about 15 times is probably good enough. You can do it longer or shorter if you like, depending on what you like here. And now I'm going to make this a little longer. This is just, even though I've done 15 loops across here, now I'm going to go back and forth across the top here till it's long enough to wrap around both ends of the leash. So I'm going to turn around. Actually, before I turn around, I'm going to sew an extra loop here. Then I'm going to turn it around and start again, and this time instead of looping around the leash, I'm going to loop around the loops that are already made. So I'm grabbing under, over, then I'm going to push through this little hole that was made before, and just like I was doing it for the leash, I'm doing it through the hole, grabbing over, under, pulling it through till I have the 3 on the thread, then I'm pulling it through the first loop, and then pulling it through all 3 loops. And like I said, if you haven't crocheted before at all, this may or may not help you, but if you have just some rudimentary crocheting skills, this can be like a review. And you don't have to crochet the same way I'm doing it. This is just what works for me. Whatever works for you. You don't have to do crochet like I said. You can use canvas or some other sturdy cloth. You could probably even knit. And this is going to be my second row. You probably want to do about 7 rows. Just play around with it. And note that I didn't take my crochet off the roll. Here's the roll here. And I'm just pulling it off the roll as I go. We will be cutting it off eventually. Like I said, this is just our second row, and let's continue crocheting.